What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the second weekend of the Modern Warfare 2 beta. So before I get into that, I did want to show you guys this as well. I'm sure many players might have been wondering about like the way to get the weapons early and or use like the special weapons early on. Now, unfortunately, I did notice this is actually going to be patched. Now, I was checking this yesterday when my friend mentioned it to me, so before all you had to do was have your shotgun on your primary and then obviously head over to your perk package and then head over to Assault and you can put that on, but now it gives you the M4. I was noticing no matter what I did, it was basically doing that every single time. So now all you have to do is hit level 16 to get the Lockman 762 unlocked. That way you can actually continue on that weapon tree. But anyway, guys, let's go over the second week of the Modern Warfare 2 beta right now. So I have to admit, I do think the game is pretty fun. Obviously, it's going to have some flaws to it and definitely some things that are making everybody scratch their head. For example, apparently they did fix the footsteps, and to be honest, I really have not noticed a difference with it. It still sounds like the elephants are basically running down the street, and I can kind of see why some people don't really want to move around all that much because you can basically hear footsteps pretty far away. So if you're going to rush into there, they're probably going to be waiting to hear you anyway, so it's kind of unfortunate. But then again, I wouldn't say that's like game breaking, but they definitely can probably tweak the footsteps a little bit more because apparently they did. But let me know if you guys have noticed a difference with this in the comments below. Personally, I do think the footsteps are just like they were in week 1 on PS5, but who knows, I could be tripping. Now, I did notice other YouTubers were talking about this as well, saying a lot of the sounds in the game are very loud, like reloading and all that stuff, which honestly, they're really not wrong. I didn't honestly take notice of that, but now that I play the game a little bit more, I'm kind of noticing that as well. I've been noticing a lot of people seem to be pretty happy with the Invasion game mode on multiplayer as well. I've been playing this a little bit, and it is pretty dang fun. I did have a good amount of matches, though, where people were basically just sitting on rooftops and not really running around all that much. I also encountered more bots than I did players for some odd reason. I really didn't see that many people, maybe because they were like camping in buildings or sitting on roofs with snipers, which was happening a lot as well. But besides that, I do think this game mode is pretty fun. I'm interested to see how it's going to work in the actual game. See if you can like level up weapons and or camos and all that. I would say that's probably going to be considered like boosting in some way because let's be honest, the bots really had no idea what was going on at all. I was kind of laughing at that. I was actually surrounded in some areas and I was running around reloading and basically taking all of them down, and they were barely shooting at me, so I would say the bots were basically on recruit. But then again, we're not going to get the veteran bots from Black Ops 2 that can basically laser you across the map with aimbot. But then again, I think that would be kind of fun having bots that could aim like that, but I'm definitely really interested to see if this is going to affect the actual game with like leveling up weapons and or being able to progress camos and stuff like that. But again, we'll have to wait and see until the actual game releases. Now, one thing I also wanted to go over, which I will be making another video for tomorrow, guys, talking about the skill-based matchmaking. So obviously, Modern Warfare 2 beta is going to have it and or the game itself. And I have been noticing a good amount. I do mention it in the video tomorrow as well, that I basically go over how I notice you have some good games and then a lot of bad ones after that, and then you basically kind of get punished a little bit. But then again, I don't think they're going to be able to change this in any way. I think it's going to stay in the game, unfortunately, and I kind of deal with that anyway. But I did jump into a couple of matches with my friends there, and I was kind of surprised how good I was actually doing. I was kind of destroying everybody. I had like 41 kills, and my teammates had like 13 or so, and the other team maybe had like 17 to 20, if that, on some of them anyway. The rest of the guys had like 12 or so. So it was kind of interesting. Then the next game, one of my friends left. We jumped in, and I noticed a little bit difference of the lobby. And I did notice that with the game a little bit, so it is kind of interesting how like you can see a difference in the lobby and it changing by like the skill of the players and all that, which I understand how they're trying to put like skilled players versus each other to give you a bit more challenge and all that. But then again, why can't they just put that in a regular ranked game mode? I think that would be way better, but who knows? Maybe we will see something with the SBMM change in the future, but I guess only time is going to tell on that. Now, one thing I also wanted to go over is going to be the weapon balancing and or weapon meta I was noticing when playing the beta in weekend 2. So I'm sure everybody remembers Modern Warfare 2019 with basically everybody running the MP5 and the M4, which obviously I can understand being able to make some of these weapons so versatile. I do think that does make the game more fun, but honestly some of the weapons I do think are going to be a little ridiculous. Basically everybody ran the M4 back in the day, and then obviously the MP5 was nerfed a few times, and it was still really good after that, and I also have a crazy build I will show on the screen for the MP5 as well, which is kind of making me laugh, guys. This gun was absolutely lasering across the map like it was an AR, and the funniest part, it barely has any recoil whatsoever. I was kind of laughing what I was doing to players with it. I was running the Lockman 5.56 in the AR class for a little bit, but I find myself running the MP5 a lot more, which is kind of funny because it was doing a lot better. The gun felt more balanced and all that, and then obviously I was getting destroyed by the M4, which is probably a good thing, but you can definitely tell some weapons are going to be better than others, which I can understand to a certain extent because it is an FPS shooter. So once people find the better attachments on certain weapons, maybe they might come out into the meta as well. One thing I also wanted to show that I found to be really funny, but maybe I could be tripping on this. Have you guys noticed how the Lockman 7.62 is basically the exact same weapon as the LMS? These are basically going to be the same gun. I noticed the other one has a 20 round mag and this one has a 10, but these weapons are both 1 to 2 shots depending on where you hit the person, like in the head or obviously the body. And the funniest thing is I was using both of these weapons, which by the way, the LMS is not that good. I would definitely not run this weapon over pretty much anything else, is the fact that the battle rifle is basically the exact same weapon. Obviously, as I did mention before, this does have 20 rounds, but both weapons are going to be a 2-shot on the body then 1 on the head, so I really don't understand the difference with them. It's kind of like that meme where the girl's saying, I don't see a difference with these pictures. That's basically how I feel about the Lockmans here, and my goodness, guys, the marksman version is not a good weapon. But then again, I understand how like each weapon is in their own weapon family, like how the Lockman's in like the same family as like the MP5 and all that. I understand that, but my goodness, that marksman rifle is just honestly hilarious. But let me know in the comments below which weapons you guys are seeing more than anything else in multiplayer. I do want to know because I'm kind of curious on what everybody is running. I know the FSS Hurricane's also a really good SMG, but once you get the MP5 unlocked, it's honestly really hard to actually use the FSS Hurricane. But then again, maybe each weapon can do good in their own way depending on the engagement there, but I noticed the MP5 can basically do every single engagement. Close range, that gun's going to completely obliterate everything, and even across the map you can outgun people running the M4, which I do think is funny. I do think we're going to get a lot of flashbacks from Modern Warfare 2019, but then again, they might end up tweaking some of these weapons before the actual game releases. But I am curious on what everybody is running in your guys' lobbies, and or what guns do you guys really prefer so far. We can definitely see some are going to be better than others. And then one of the other things I also wanted to talk about that's a pretty hot topic in the Call of Duty community as well as dead silence as a field upgrade. Now I definitely understand the frustration of the players with this because obviously players do want to run around and do their own thing, and then obviously if footsteps are so loud you can hit your dead silence field upgrade and then try to run towards some people who might be sitting in a building with a shotgun, which man, that would be unfortunate. But I can definitely see where players are getting annoyed with this now. Do I think they could ever add this back as a perk? Personally, I really don't think this is ever going to happen because they pretty much have it implemented into the game as a field upgrade. I would be honestly really shocked if they did put this back as a perk, but I did notice when watching some other YouTubers that they could basically add this as like a perk, but have it as like a high-leveled perk. That way you can only use that one and you can't use like other ones. That could be one big solution for that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below because I can definitely see the dead silence thing being an issue, especially with how loud footsteps currently are in the game. I know they apparently fixed that as I did mention before, but it's definitely still going to be too loud if you do sound like a herd of elephants running down a hallway because everyone's going to be basically just sitting in that one corner waiting for you to run around. Now, I've also been seeing online that this can also be considered to be more tactical and or make the game a more tactical gameplay experience, but then again, I don't know why they'd want to punish you for wanting to run around because I personally would not enjoy sitting in a building with a claymore behind me while I use a 7.25. My goodness, that gun was a nightmare on Modern Warfare 2019, but then again, having people sitting in a room with an M4 is not going to be any better on Modern Warfare 2. So hopefully they do figure something out with the dead silence and or having the footsteps being as loud as they are, because I do think that could be a bit of an issue. Now the last thing I wanted to talk about is going to be the maps on this game. Personally, guys, I'm going to be honest, I have been having a lot more fun on the maps on Modern Warfare 2 compared to Modern Warfare 2019. Now, I really don't know why that is, but I do think the maps are going to be a little bit better, at least hopefully at the moment, the 4 we've had on the beta so far. Now, I'm not going to lie though, obviously some of the maps are going to be covered in many doors, which you're going to have to run through those. Which, if I had to guess, I would say a lot of players are probably not going to be happy about this because obviously somebody could be sitting in that building and or sitting in their corner waiting for you to open that door, then you're going to get lasered immediately, and then you can also like peek the door like you could in Modern Warfare 2019. Now, I could be wrong, but I thought you could destroy the doors on Call of Duty Vanguard, but I really did not play that game enough to know that. But I would say overall the maps in the beta so far do seem to be a lot better than Modern Warfare 2019. I know, for example, playing on Piccadilly was an absolute nightmare on that game. My goodness, I hated that map with a passion. which I would say many players are probably going to agree that that map was definitely not that great. So I do think the maps on the Modern Warfare 2 beta so far that we have seen are definitely going in a better direction, but I guess we will have to wait and see till the actual game releases with all the maps as well. But anyway guys, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments below because I'm pretty interested to see what's going to change when this game releases at the end of October.